Oh, hello and welcome, FPL managers, and of course, welcome to the Zonal Weakness by Corner Football Fantasy, powered by Fantasy Football Scout, and of course, ahead of the big and the most anticipated game week of the season so far. It's Double Game Week 25. We have a lots of discussion, and of course, we have interesting data to show you. But for all that, of course, it's Bethany who joins me, and of course, she celebrated her birthday yesterday. So happy belated birthday, Bethany!
Thank you.
How was your game week?
It was okay. I ended up on a green arrow, not as big as I'd have liked. I had a few nice players like Saka. I still had. I had Senesi who got the goal. Saliba, who obviously got goal and clean sheet. So I had a few nice players, but unfortunately, I captained Jota over Haaland, which was looking great until the end of Man City's game. And I also sold Palmer, which again was looking really good until the end of Chelsea's game. So yeah, I managed a small green from about, I don't know, 770k to 700k, something like that. So I managed a green, which is nice, but it could have been a lot bigger if I'd captained Haaland or kept Palmer. How about you?
Yeah. I had a good game week. I had a good game week. I had few people who were on the bench because I just had a dilemma, and I thought like this is the most safest option that I can put them on the bench, Archer and Maguire, and they ended up scoring and providing assists. So that's that. So yeah, my the only player that didn't really give me any points was probably Foden and Dubravka. So that's that. But yeah, it was after the disaster that I had after selling Saka and Will Watkins and then what you call it Gross, yeah, kind of bouncing back a little bit. So yeah, it was good finally a bit of a green arrow. Yeah, so back in the 500,000 key
Good.
range. Good. Okay, so let's it's the double game week, and yeah, so let's see what the zonal says. But before we get into all that, what you're going to do is quickly just shout out to all the audience. Of course, if you're not following us and of course not liking, please do so. And if you haven't subscribed, we request you to please do so because that's where we are producing the zonal weakness, and of course we're doing the regular content. So do give us a follow, and we'll appreciate all the support and all the data that you of course see from on the zonal weakness are from the Fantasy Football Scout members area. And if you're interested in the membership, please click on the link in the description below, and you would get a 20% discount, and you will have access to loads and loads of data. So that's something perhaps would be very useful in the coming weeks, especially starting from this week, of course. So yeah, do not hesitate and do not wait. Please click in the description, and you will get access to it with a 20% discount. Right, Bethany, here it is. This is the slide that showcases the double game week, and the next slide would be more focusing on the single teams that are playing having single game week. So, what stands out for the double game week?
Yeah, so I think unfortunately it's not looking great actually for the double. There's no team that has two great fixtures. Obviously, there's some teams here that have got one of the fixtures looks pretty good, but the other doesn't. And obviously, some teams don't even have the one fixture that looks particularly great. So I think the team that stands out the most are Man City for definite. Obviously, they've got the double, but then they go on to still have a game in 26, which is really important when so many teams blank. So I think Man City definitely go for the triple up there. And I'd be going for attackers. The attackers are looking good here. So Haaland and Alvarez, both looking really good. They're ranked second for chances conceded versus Brentford, and even versus Chelsea, which doesn't look as great for the team. And they're still ranked only 8th. So again, not looking too bad. Foden and KDB again looking quite nice. They're ranked 3rd for the left flank crosses conceded against Brentford, and for left flank chances conceded against Chelsea, they're ranked 7th, so just outside the zone that we normally talk about. So I really like them. I think Doku's obviously interesting. He's obviously ranked 1st. For Brentford, if you're wanting a differential, he might be quite nice. Grealish looks like might be injured, so that kind of like maybe helps Doku's position. But I think Doku's one of those risky players. So if you like risk, he's got that high reward. He could haul. We've seen him earlier in the season, I think, get quite a few returns in the one match, but he's also quite easily able to blank. So for me personally, I'd be going for your more less risky assets, so your Haaland, Alvarez, Foden, KDB. But if you like having a differential that nobody else owns, Doku could be the one from the stater. Liverpool, again, looking great here, but you've got to remember that they do blank in 26. Salah is looking all right there. He looks like he's back in training at the moment. He's back on the grass. Looks like he's with the team again. So I expect he's going to get minutes over the double game week. Just not quite sure how many minutes. But yeah, Salah's ranked third there for crosses conceded on the left flank. Darwin and Jota both ranked second for chances conceded down the centre. Interestingly, obviously, it's the Brentford game that's looking good for the Liverpool assets, not great in the Luton game, which is potentially a surprise for some people. One thing just to point out here is Trent, obviously ranked third for crosses conceded on the left flank. It looks like Trent's going to be out for a couple of weeks, not a long term, but looks like he's going to miss the double at least. So yeah, potentially someone to sell to free up some funds, maybe to get your KDB or somebody instead. Brentford obviously here have got a really tough double. They've got Liverpool and Man City, and none of their assets are standing out. So I know some people might be interested in Tony. If you've already got him, I think he's a great shout for the double. He does often appear in these big games. He wants to put his name out there. He wants to look for a move. So I think Tony's an okay asset to have, especially if you already own him. But otherwise, I wouldn't be racing to bring in Brentford assets. I know quite a few people are going for Reguilon, who's looked great recently, but I just think they're going to concede goals against Liverpool and Man City. And obviously the attacking chances don't look great from the zonal. So an avoid for me, probably for now. Then we've got Luton. And unfortunately, it's the less popular assets that are looking good on the zonal. So you've got Clark and Ogbene there, whereas most people who've got Luton assets have kind of gone for your Doherty, Morris, Adebayo maybe. And again, they're not terrible shouts. Doherty and Morris down as ranked 6th against Man United for right flank crosses conceded. So they could be all right, and they've got the double, so they're going to get double the appearance points. But again, probably wouldn't be tearing your team apart or taking loads of hits to bring in Luton players. I'd keep the Luton players for their double when they double in a few weeks' time. Game week 28, I think, will be much better for Luton players.
Okay, yeah. I'm not sure if people are still hesitating about Haaland triple captain, but in case some people do, and yeah, just I'm not going to mention names here, but in case some people are just in case some people are contemplating. Yeah,
he blanked midweek. KDB and Foden got everything midweek, and until the 80th minute or whatever, he was blanking last week. So I think again, he's one of these players that can go big, or he can blank because he's not likely to get. He's much more going for the goals. He's less likely to build up those kind of assist points. Whereas something like KDB may get less minutes, but when he's on the pitch, he can get both goals and assists, and will build up bonus points too. So yeah, I'm leaning that way potentially, but not captaining Haaland hurt me last week, so I may just follow the crowd just because I don't want to be hurt again.
Yeah, and I think his ownership might just skyrocket this time to EO might be just over 200 this week. So even if he scores, or even if he just scores 2 points, just saying, that's still gonna hurt. That's still gonna hurt.
I know exactly. So got to weigh it up.
Yeah, so really good luck to those who are
well, and I didn't.
For thinking twice. No, I just want to wish everyone who wants to think or thinking twice about whether to captain or not to triple captain Haaland, all the very best. I'm just going to put it unless I hear something else that he's not going to play or something like that, like completely and confirmed reports, not some fake rumors or something. But anyway, let's move to the single game week. So here or there, these are the teams that are playing the single game week. What stands out? I mean, there's quite a lot of white here, but yeah.
Yeah, I think there's more white here than there was on the double game weekers, I think. So yeah, I think firstly standing out the Arsenal players, they did really well last week just gone, and I think they could do similarly again. Saka ranked third for left flank chances conceded against Burnley. Gabriel, he obviously popped up with a goal last week too, and obviously they've also got the chance that they could keep a clean sheet again against Burnley. So I really like the Arsenal assets, and they don't blank the week after either. So I think they're good for that, both this week and also going into game week 26, when you need as many players on your pitch as possible, unless you're planning on playing a free hit or something. Watkins looks great. So for those who sold Watkins to bring in Haaland back, obviously that's a shame. Yeah, he's looking good again from the zonal. Headers conceded and chances conceded down the centre, both ranked 5th against Fulham. So hopefully, obviously he blanked last week, but hopefully he'll be back in the points this week. And yeah, again, they don't blank in 26, so Villa assets are looking good there. Spurs assets against Wolves. Richarlison's looking good, ranked 3rd for chances conceded down the centre and for headed chances. We've obviously got Maddison and Son back now, so they're both also looking good here. And Udogie seems to have taken over from Porro. He looks like the attacking defender at the moment to own. And Wolves are going to be without Kuna and potentially without Hwang, so there's even a chance of a clean sheet for Spurs there. I think the key thing with Spurs is if you already own them, that's great, but I wouldn't be going to get them in this week. Obviously, they don't double, and they also then blank next week, so you don't want to have too many players who blank next week. They're also okay assets. Again, if you are wanting to bring in KDB or somebody, I wouldn't be against, even though they've got the good zonal this week because they blank, I wouldn't be against, say, swapping a Son or a Charleston to be able to bring in KDB, who doubles and then doesn't blank. The next one is something that's
perhaps you should just highlight this section a little bit more.
Ironic that after the last however many weeks, I can't even remember, forever it feels like I've been saying Man United's fixtures look great on the zonal, but I don't trust them, so don't do anything with them. It's finally got to that point where I'm thinking, actually, I could trust United, especially someone like Højlund. Højlund seems to be very consistent at the moment. And yet the zonal doesn't support it. So probably an avoid this week, but I am thinking about potentially bringing in Højlund the week after when they don't blank. So a complete switch around there. I think it is time that we maybe could start looking at some of their assets. And then finally, Newcastle, obviously against Bournemouth, none of their assets are standing out, all not really great on the zonal. And I think Newcastle's just one to avoid at the moment. They've got quite a lot going on. They're looking terribly defensively, but also attacking wise, both Wilson and Isaac, it looks, are now going to be out. So again, not really sure what's going on there. I'd avoid both for the Bournemouth game from the zonal, but just in general at the moment, I think they're a bit unsettled.
Well, it was refreshing to hear from Bet talking about a particular team, to be honest. But anyway, let's move to the next slide and let's see the transfer suggestions that we have for this week. It's Kevin De Bruyne, quite obvious. But again, if you could illustrate that a little bit as to why we have picked him.
Yeah, I think KDB speaks for himself. I think obviously last week he was on the bench and Man City was struggling. And as soon as he brought it on, things started to happen for them. He got a goal and an assist, I think, midweek as well. So Kevin De Bruyne is definitely back. He's got the double game week coming up and then doesn't blank, which is really important. And he just makes such a difference to that Man City team. I think he's great. Obviously, he's expensive, so that's something you've got to factor in. But otherwise, I think he's a great shout. I really like him. Obviously, considering him for the triple captain, so I clearly do like him. But yeah, I think he's a great shout over the next few weeks, definitely.
Yeah, so ranked about 15th, 2nd, and 20th for game week 26, 27, and 28. And of course, he has the double game week and no blank in 26. So yeah, team of the week.
Yeah, I think this is looking quite a good team of the week, actually, because it's managed to, it's got, I think, 7 double game weekers there. So it's got Haaland, Darwin, De Bruyne, Foden, Jota, Trent, though we're not sure on Trent with his injury now, and Doherty. So 7 doublers, but only 5 blankers for, I think, Darwin, or less even. Darwin, Jota, Udogie, Trent and Doherty. So 5 blankers. So
Yeah.
you've just got to be aware of that when you're thinking about who to bring in this week. Who are you going to have to bench or sell the week after if you're not using your free hit? But yeah, I really like these. I think we've talked about quite a lot of them already. I think Haaland obviously is a great shout for captaincy and triple captaincy. De Bruyne is a great shout for captaincy and triple captaincy if you want to go slightly different. Saka has regained that form and he's got a great fixture against Burnley and doesn't blank. I'd be avoiding Trent now, and I think I'd probably avoid Liverpool defenders. Some people are going in on Van Dijk, but I just don't think he's got the upside that Trent has from the attacking perspective. And some people are going in on Bradley, who is again a great shout as being so cheap, but we just can't guarantee his minutes. I really like Udogie at the moment, but I wouldn't be bringing him since he blanks next week. So keep him and play him if you've got him, but don't be buying him this week. Darwin and Watkins up top look great. Double for Darwin, and Watkins just has a good fixture and then doesn't blank. So yeah, overall looks really promising. If you own quite a few of this team, you should get on all right.
Well, just one thing I just want to caution all the audience watching this video, of course, is that don't be blinded by the double game week, because Arsenal still has a great fixture. And in case you are struggling to bring in people like Kevin De Bruyne, TA is a good way of trying to sell him and then getting, probably if you have Gabriel, get for Saliba, and then if you have Saliba, go for Gabriel, and then you can still afford the extra fund that can be used to buy Kevin De Bruyne. But don't be blinded by the double game week and don't miss out on the opportunity for buying in Arsenal players, because I think they are really looking at a solid unit. So yeah, I mean that's that. Yeah, that's that. So yeah, thank you so much, Bethany, and I think we have done it for. Yeah, thank you so much, and all the very best, audience, for the Double Gaming 25, and we'll of course be back for the Blank Gaming 26. But until then, best wishes for those who are playing the triple captain, and all the very, very best wishes for those who are contemplating on playing the triple captain on Haaland. On that note, I wish you all the best. See you next week.
Later.
Bye bye.